Welcome back to Fantasy 1.0. Quiet edition. The girls are sleeping upstairs. It's like 5 in the morning. Anyways, week 3, waiver wire ads. Let's get this party started before I gotta go to work.
Put your seatbelt on and yield for the apocalypse, yeah. It's the apocalypse, yeah.
All right, y'all. Let's get this show on the road here. Okay, so good game last night, by the way, right? Monday Night Football. Some of them might be in here too on the list. Okay, so quickly fire off this list here. Do it real quiet so the girls don't wake up and I don't get in trouble. And then yeah, so just to let you know, so the Friday one where I do sits and starts, DFS and all that, it'll be nice and bright. You know, everybody's gonna be awake. This one here, I fire these off at around 5 in the morning. So yeah, so bear with me here. Sorry about the darkness. But Canada, the sun doesn't like to come up till about 6:30. I think I said that last week. All right, let's get this show on the road. Okay, so high priority ads. These are guys that I want you to keep an eye out for the waiver wire. Now, I'm not going to tell you how much fab budget to spend on these guys. This is up to you. If you need running backs, and I'm mentioning a running back, this is a guy to keep an eye out for. If I'm mentioning wide receivers and you need wide receiver, you know the drill. Okay, cool. So Giovanni Bernard, he's owned in 28% of leagues. Joe Mixon's out 2 to 4 weeks. He's getting arthroscopic surgery, so I don't know how it's going to be 2 weeks. So I mean, it could be a prolonged absence, right? So Bernard is a guy. I'm assuming they've got another guy that could be going in for the first 2 downs. But I mean, I think it's going to be Bernard's backfield just for the fact that he's got experience. He knows what he's doing, and it still seems like he can play. Yeah. Okay. So 22% Corey Clement. Jay Ajayi, I think he's going to wear down throughout the year. I mean, he's got issues with his knee. I think it was his hamstring on Sunday that took him out for a spell. I just don't know if he can fill that bell cow role that looks like Philly wants to give him this year. So I think Clement's workload is going to increase over time. So 22% owned, I think that's a guy you need to have in the end of your bench, especially if you're a little bit weak at running back. I'm going to say it again, Allison. Another good game, and this was against Minnesota. He's lining up opposite Devontae Adams. He's owned at 31% of leagues. Pick him up as your wide receiver 4, please. Especially when the bye weeks start coming into play and everything. KCole, 49% owned. So I'm going to mention some guys that are like 60% owned here. Just take a look. If you happen to be in one of those leagues that don't have that he's available, then take him. But KCole, he's 49% owned. He had a great game against the Pats. I know the Pats had a pretty weak in secondary, but that was Bortles' first look. Bortles looked amazing that game. Everybody looked really good. Yeah, so keep an eye out for him if you need wide receiving help. So a guy that's probably owned, in more competitive leagues, but anyways, keep an eye out for him because this guy looks like he's the real deal. Is Kenny Golladay, 62% owned. Again, if he's out there, grab him. Quincy Enunwa, same thing, 61% owned. I think he's got 21 looks from Sam Darnold in the first 2 weeks. So it looks like Robbie Anderson sort of fading into wide receiver 3 territory. Yeah, John Brown, 25% owned. I really like him. I think he's got a wide receiver 3 floor with Baltimore. So that's a guy I'd like you to grab too. Again, don't grab all these guys, but these are guys I want you to try to take a look at and maybe pick up. MWilliams, I want you to make sure that he is taken in your league. If he's not, you take him. He's 60% owned. I think he's going to score, calling it right now, he's going to score between 8 and 10 touchdowns this year as a second wide receiver. Tyrell Williams is not the guy. Antonio Gates is done. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Bilal Powell, 57% owned. He's going to get lots of passes. I think he had 5 carries for 6 yards last game they played. But still, he caught a bunch of balls, and I expect the Jets to be down quite a bit, so I expect them to be running him out onto the field more than Crowell. 57% owned, so keep an eye out. Matt Breida, he's 62% on. If you just look at how much better he was than Alfred Morris and how much better he's been than Alfred Morris, it's just a matter of time before this is his backfield. So yeah, he is owned in 62% of leagues. I'm pretty tired, that's why I can't talk right now. But yeah, so if he's available, you grab him up. He was running mad on Sunday. It was awesome. Okay, some lower priority guys here that I want you to take a look at. Oh, we got to talk about Josh Gordon after. The Pats signed him or traded for him. I think they traded him for a 5th rounder. I mean, that could be sick. Okay, so Austin Ekeler, 44% on. As I predicted, he got a whole whack of receiving yards and rushing yards in garbage time against the Bills because the Bills are terrible. The Bills and the Cardinals are both terrible. But anyways, yeah. So that's a guy I think you should pick up and stick on the end of your bench too if you've got the space. 44% on. Ted Ginn, 41% on. He's got the same rules he did last year. I haven't heard a thing from Cam Meredith. He just doesn't seem ready. He's been on the bench or a healthy scratch for the first 2 games of the season. So if Ginn is back doing the same thing he did last year, expect 4 or 5 touchdowns, 800 to 900 receiving yards. That's not bad for a wide receiver 5 or whatever, if you can get him. Calloway, so he's fast. That's basically who's going to be taking over for Josh Gordon, lining up on the other side of Jarvis Landry. I think he caught a touchdown pass last week. Anyways, pick him up too. If pick up some of these guys. But he's 7% owned, so that's a guy that you can probably throw 0 fab at him or a couple bucks and you can have him. Chris Godwin, pick him up if you haven't already, or you haven't seen somebody do that already. I think this love affair with Deshaun Jackson is eventually going to end through injury or ineffectiveness. Godwin looked great last quarter, the final quarter of last season. So I see that extending into this year as well. I don't know what's going to happen with the quarterback situation when Winston comes back because Fitzpatrick has been amazing. But yeah, so there's that. Okay, Cortland Sutton, 9% on. If you watched any of that game, Demaryius Thomas, there's something up with him. He's old. There's no injury or anything like that, but I think he dropped 2-3 passes. He just doesn't look like he's got the wheels he used to. So who's waiting in the wings? Cortland Sutton. So I don't know. I could see Demaryius Thomas' snap count dropping and Cortland Sutton's going up. He's 9% on. Take a flyer. Get him for free. So this guy, I'm not completely sold on, but I'm just using my sort of rational judgment here and just being like, okay, look how big my hands are. I'm going to go back here. Okay, so Latavius Murray, he's 43% owned. I am a big Dalvin Cook fan. I think he isn't going to get a huge workload like he did the first 4 games of last season before he got hurt. But I think he is going to be there more or less bell cow. But Murray is there for the in the event that Dalvin Cook gets injured or gets a little hobbled, Murray's carries are going to go up. And Minnesota's playing, with positive game flow, right? They're gonna be up almost all year. They look really good, except when they're tying teams. I hate ties in football. I think it's brutal. But anyways, it was a tie. A bunch of guys missing field goals. So Calvin Ridley, he's overtaken Mohamed Sanu as the second look, maybe third look after Coleman and Jones. Yeah, I just think that, they tried to shut down Jones last game, and they just turned to Ridley, and Ridley performed well. So it's a guy I think you should have on your team too, or at least consider. So back to Deshaun that we were talking about before. He's 49% owned. I'm sure that's going to bump up quite a bit this week. He's got 2 weeks of touchdowns and 100-plus receiving yards. So as long as Fitzmagic is in there, maybe you do want to pick him up too. All right, so here's some quarterbacks to stream. So those are guys I want you to pick up on waivers. And if you stream quarterbacks, if you're a smart fantasy football player and you stream quarterbacks, then here's some guys I think you should take a look at. Alex Smith is 73% on, so the 1 in 4 chance that he's out there. He's just starting against the weak Green Bay secondary, so that's a guy I want you to keep an eye on. David Carr looked awesome against the Broncos. I don't know what we're going to get from that Raiders offense this year because we had one dud and we had one pretty good game. They lost, but I mean I think he completed, what was it, like 18 of 20 passes or something nuts. And that's against Denver. So he looked really good. So that's a guy you might want to stream. Mitchell Trubisky looked really good yesterday too. And he gets Miami this week, which isn't too bad of a thing. Matt Stafford's 91% owned. I was really surprised at that number. I thought after the first game people were just going to freak out and drop him. But anyways, so, okay. Only 9% chance that he's available in your league. But he's facing the Pats, so I'm going to expect he's going to be throwing a lot against a weak secondary and probably playing from behind. So big games for Marvin Jones and the deep threats like that. Blake Bortles, 28% owned. Man, he looked good. He looked good against the Pats. So, yeah, he's playing against Tennessee this week, who are, well, yeah, they're fine. But, I mean, yeah, whatever. Keep an eye out for Bortles. Okay, defense streaming options. So the Thursday night games, they're messy. They're messy games. These two teams aren't fully recovered. They're kind of tired. So either one of these defenses I'm signing off on, Jets or the Browns. 34% owned for the Jets, 7% owned for the Browns. Ravens are 91% owned. Again, I thought pretty high for what happened last week. They're hosting Denver. 14% for the Cowboys. They're going to crush. If you look at what the Cowboys did against the Giants' offensive line, and what the pushback the Seahawks got against the Bears, I think the Cowboys are going to run all over them. So anyways, and I mean their D-line's going to run all over the raw line, not their, well, they are too, because Zeke is going to run all over them as well, right? But anyways, 14% on Cowboys going to be on some of my teams. Just a second. San Fran does not have the Lions. Call bullshit on myself. It was last week. But they've got somebody that I want you to. Just a second. I think they've got. Who do they have? All right, hold on. Oh. Okay, let's take San Fran off the list. Do not pick up San Fran. They're playing the Chiefs. So I didn't mention anything about the 49ers, okay? Okay. All right, okay. So this is the last part here. This is a nice and quick one. But yeah, I just want you to I'm going to walk through some players here. And some guys I want you to shop based on their name value, and I think their lack of production up to now that I think is going to continue throughout the season. And some guys I want you to chase. Okay, so I know you spent a high first-round draft pick on him, but David Johnson. They were playing with negative game script. They were down 34-0, and they were still not throwing the ball to him, which I found very disturbing. Sam Bradford looks absolutely abysmal, so it's only a matter of time before Josh Rosen's in there. Maybe he knows how to use him, but it doesn't seem like the coaching staff does. To have such a weapon sitting there and to be shut out and to not leverage, your running back that can catch passes, that can hit home runs from the backfield is bad. So, I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, I would take 80, 90 cents on the dollar for him right now. People probably are still high on him because of the name. Carlos, so going down a few rungs, Carlos Hyde, he looks really good, and it's completely his backfield, and that's great for trade value because, I mean, it's just a matter of time, I think, before they give Chubb a bigger look. Duke Johnson has not been leveraged at all yet, and Carlos Hyde gets hurt a lot. So, trade him right now. Get yourself a nice wide receiver too, or an RB2. That's equivalent to him. But yeah, I think he's kind of going that way. And I've got him on a few of my teams, so I think I'm going to shop him around a bit. Demaryius Thomas, for reasons mentioned above, I think he's lost a step or two, and I think he still has a big name in fantasy. So that's a guy that you may be able to sort of sell on before you see the drop. Jay Ajayi, I'm not a Jay Ajayi fan, I guess you can tell. It seems like he's a pretty polarizing player. But anyways, I think his body's going to break down throughout the year. As soon as you hear about bone on bone and knee injuries and foot injuries and all that with running backs while they're playing the game, during mid-season, that doesn't get better. So anyways, see what you can get for him. Let him have another big week or another good week and then pitch him off. Randall Cobb, see above. I think he's going to be playing hurt throughout the year. Just see what you can get for him. Some people really want a piece of that Green Bay wide receiving corps, and if they didn't pick Toronto up and you did, then trade him Randall Cobb. So see what you can get. Peyton Barber, he's the first second down running back on what looks like a great Bucs offense. He's terrible though, but if you can get something for him just for people, knowing he's going to get guaranteed, let's say 12 to 15 touches, then there you go. Off you go with him. Michael Crabtree, guy I liked 2 years ago, not last year, not this year. I don't think that the Ravens can support really more than one wide receiver. If you got Crabtree, trade him and pick up John Brown on Flyers. Eternal profit right there. See that? I know what I'm talking about. Do it. Do that. All right. These are guys I want you to chase. Okay. So Kareem Hunt, guy I wasn't high on the start of the season, and isn't getting the workload that I expected him to, like last year at least. Or better said, is getting the workload I expected him to, less. It's a great offense. You're going to get a piece of that great offense with him. I would consider David Johnson for Kareem Hunt right now. So just to give you some context as to what I'm looking at, just because the guy's going to get 10 touchdowns at least. That offense is sick. Mahomes doesn't appear to want to pass to the running back, which is fine. You just give him the ball a bunch of times. But I think he will, and I think we're going to start seeing different games, not just blowouts where he's winning. He's going to make mistakes too. He's a gunslinger, so he's going to get his three interception games and things like that, where he's going to have to shift gears. He'll start working from the backfield. Enter Kareem Hunt. So that's a guy we should keep an eye on. Look at this, I'm sick too. I'm still putting up these videos for you. You need to subscribe. I'm going to tell you again at the end of this too. All right? Let's get this party started. Okay. Nelson Aguilar, wait till Wentz gets back. Even now with Foles, he's the first, second look after Ertz. I really like him. I remember he was a dud his first year. He's like a former first-round draft pick. He looks really good. I really like him. And I don't think that Alshon Jeffrey's going to do much when he comes back. I think he's going to be hobbling around and just going to get hurt again. So negative, I'm so negative today. Kerryon Johnson. Detroit really wants him to be the backfield. They want to have said they've drafted this running back and he is their answer. Kerry Blount is just getting kicked out of games. It doesn't look like he's doing much. Theo Riddick is Theo Riddick. I think he's going to take over that backfield. I think more week after week, we're going to see him getting more snaps and be back there more and more. So obviously that means more carries, more pass attempts, or more balls thrown at him, I should say. Yeah, so see what you can get for him now. I think that the market was really, really strong for him before the season started. And people, I guess, are thinking, when you draft these rookie running backs, it takes a few weeks for them to sort of work their way into the backfield. So maybe that has dipped his value a little bit. Get in there and see what you can get for him, or what you can, trade him for. The guy I didn't like at the start of the season, but now I am targeting in some of my 11 leagues. I've got a problem. So Devin Funchess looks really good with Greg Olsen out there. Now there's a lot of mouths to feed in that offense, but it doesn't look like they're making more a priority. McCaffrey's going to get the ball a lot, but it looks like Funchess is going to be mixed in there too, which is good. So Kittle, he was supposed to have a bad game against the Vikings. He had an amazing game. Supposed to have a good game against the Lions, and he had a crappy game. So that's good for us because he has a rapport with Handsome Jimmy. So I think that sounds like a mobster's name, a mobster's nickname. Anyways, see what you can get for him out there because I hate streaming tight ends. It works when you get it right every week, but you don't. So if you can get a guy like this, who I think has the potential to be a top 6 tight end, see what you can get for him. Yeah, okay, that's it. Good luck this week. Josh Gordon's a Patriot. So I know that he's not available in your league, but if he is, pick him up. Don't overreact and trade for him because you never know with this guy, if he's going to have another relapse or whatever. But I remember seeing on the Sunday that he got dropped by a whole bunch of leagues. If yours is one of those leagues, just take a look, and if he's there, grab him. Don't trade for him. Far too volatile, and people are going to want far too much just because of the team he's landing in. But see what's out there. So other things I want you to do. I want you to. Oh, I know what I want you to do. Okay, I want you to look on Wednesday. So when these waivers go through, right, and all these players are getting picked up into the teams, I want you to see who these yahoos in your league are dropping, because you're going to see so much quality out there. I mean, last week I saw Evan Ingram, Jimmy Garoppolo, Kenny Stills. I mean, the list goes on, but it was just, you could have had a mediocre starting lineup with all these guys that were out there. So keep an eye for Wednesday. Number 2 is I want you to, in your flex spots, so the later the game is, the later games, I want you to fill up your flex spots with those players, because that gives you flexibility. If you find out the flexibility, if a guy's hurt or anything like that you can sub somebody in. So your Monday night game, I want that to be in a flex spot if it works out like that. But the later the game, the better to be in a flex spot. Third thing I want you to do is I want you to subscribe to this channel. So again, there's going to be an early week episode, waiver wire pickups, trade targets, and so on. End of the week, there's going to be sits and starts, DFS values and bets that I'm looking at for the week. Yeah, it's coming out every week. I'm getting about 5 in the morning to give you this information with the girls upstairs. They might get mad at me if I wake them up. So, yeah, subscribe. I want you to comment below. If you got any questions or anything like that, hit me up on Twitter, anything specific, and if you have any content suggestions, something that you want to see, just let me know. Just message me. But remember to subscribe. Like if you want. I want you to subscribe. All right, come on. Good luck this week.
And yield. It's the apocalypse.